2009 Barcelona might be the best team we have ever seen. Under Pep Guardiola, FC Barcelona didn't just win the treble, they actually influenced the football. They changed the entire football and the way it was played in that particular year. It was a 4-3-3 formation with the back of Puyol, with the back of Dani Alves, with the back of Gerard Piqué, Eric Abidal, and all those players in the back. In midfield, you had Xavi Hernandez, you had Busquets, you had Iniesta, arguably the greatest midfield trio of all time, and three of Lionel Messi, Samuel Eto'o, and Thierry Henry. In reality, the system was really fluid. It was a fluid system of football by all the through the defense into the midfield and then into the attack. So the thing about their tactic was that the players occupied specific spaces to create constant triangles to allow spaces in midfield and in the defense to allow players to go and exploit the zones in the attack. Xavi dictated flow with quick passes, and he controlled the tempo of the game. Iniesta broke defenses by dribbling through them, and Busquets was the main defensive line between the opposite team and their own half because he was there. He was lying deep, while Iniesta and Xavi Hernandez he allowed them to go forward and attack. What really made them difficult was the patience. They would constantly pass, and this is what we call tiki taka. They would constantly pass until the shape of the opposite team would be dragged down, and that is what they did against Manchester United in the final. They constantly passed and they killed the team with passing. The team got frustrated, and obviously they lost their shape because constantly you had to move here and there. That really destructs the shape of the team. Dani Alves pushed high alongside Messi and Henry, creating overloads of attackers on front and then leaving space behind, which allows Xavi and Iniesta to sometimes go forward and leave behind. And Messi, on the other hand, had an entirely different role. He played as a false nine, but including false nine, what the thing was that he played with a free role. That means he was sometimes in right wing. Actually, I couldn't describe it. Dembele's role in PSG this season and the last season. That means you can move here and somewhat Bernardo Silva's role, same as Messi's role. He could go onto the wing and go onto the midfield, sometimes play as a striker and allow Thierry Henry to go on the wing because he's rapid. So that was one of the difficult and most difficult thing for the opposite team to tackle because you don't have any player to mark him. They didn't have possession. What they did was swarm the players. Absolutely, three players would come in like absolute. They would become destructions. Busquets would come from the midfield. Xavi, Iniesta, sometimes Messi would come to defend, and they would not allow the. That is basically what I can say is I can compare that team to today's PSG team because this was absolute peak halal ball because when you lose the ball you change your formation and then you absolutely destruct the formation of other team and then press them like absolute animals and then didn't allow them to keep the ball. Celtic versus Barcelona, I remember they lost the game, but it was one of the most ridiculous games. We created 90% possession every game. They had the most possession, and that is what Pep Guardiola still does. But that time you had players like Messi, you had Thierry Henry, Eto'o. Champions League final against Manchester United, they showed the same integrity and they absolutely destroyed Manchester United in one of the most one-sided Champions League finals of all time, with holding a record 70% possession to the entire game. Messi scored 2 goals with a wonderful header, which he actually battled his best goal of all time, and it was one of the most ridiculous finals. Talking about Messi's stats, Messi that season scored 38 goals and assist 18 times, and including and he won the Ballon d'Or, he won the Champions League, and the La Liga, Copa del Rey, and it was one of his best seasons till date. Till now, this Barcelona team might be the best team of all time because of all these tactical facts and all these preferences. You can still call them the best team of all time.